All right, guys, so you can see we've got the rear drive shaft off. Been driving around front wheel drive right now, and that was because I had the 1310 joint and the pulley being machined so we could get the alternator worked up on here. I'm pretty excited about that. I just fitted up the joint and measuring for the length of the drive shaft now, because it is going to be shorter, probably around like an 1/8 to a 16th. Not very much, but enough that I probably wouldn't be able to get the drive shaft on. So look here, guys, this is what we've got worked up. The bolts are going through. I've only got 3 in there right now, but so for the 1310 joint, I have these shouldered bolts here. I need to get some more of them, but the bolt hole is much bigger on the joint than on the diff. This little like 12mm bolt hole, it's much smaller than that. So got the shoulder, and that's gonna center it all, make sure they're just perfect. I like that a lot. So I need to get 4 more of those guys and tighten everything up, get some lengths and stuff, and get this thing checked out. I'm excited. This is gonna work though. Get an alternator mounted up right in here, probably a little shield, cover it in case we break an axle so the axle doesn't stab the alternator. Little things like that, you know. All right, so I got both joints centered and bolted up. Just measured 36.5 from the mating surface to the mating surface right in there. So there is, see that? So that's how it's mated. So there's a sandwiching plate here. So this pulley has a lip on the inside. This plate is machined to the lip, and then this goes all the way to the lip. So there's barely at the back of this plate, not in the center, at the back here, a lip that holds this all together, and then you just tighten it down and it sandwiches it. And man, does it fit perfect. So I need to get shoulder bolts so that I don't shear them and deal with that, but it's coming along really, really well. Super close. 3-inch tube on the way. I'm gonna have to clearance this some more for the tube. All right, so I just got the lengths and stuff for that, came down. That is 36.5 inches. And then we're hopping in the Rex now. So yesterday, Sean and I made this adapter, and we had bolted the strain gauge on and everything and got that fitted up. But now you can see the adapter's gone, and I like this much better. So the adapter added all that length. It did shift, it bottomed all the way out, so it was right there, but imagine all of this off of there. So I mean, the shifter, the knob was above the dash. It was like up here, way too high. So I just tapped the whole stick, 10 by 1.5. I'm gonna go ahead and let the owner of the company know. KDN Performance, super cool stuff. But I'm gonna let him know that I feel like the Honda lineup, the K series and the B series, I'm not sure about the other shifters, what their options are for strain and stuff, but I know like in the Honda world, strains that the knob wise, 10 by 1.5 is already made all over. I mean, they make metric size, or they make American sizes, standard stuff. This was 1/2 by 20, and I couldn't find a knob. I mean, I know GP1 makes one, but it's a little pricey, and I am a Fuel Tech dealer, so I get this one for a little bit of a better deal. So I got my strain gauge here, got it all set up. I have the lockout set to where, like, if I flip it, I am locked out. It works, but I haven't really tried it. I haven't put it in first, engaged the lockout, slam second, slam third. I mean, that's it right there. I just did it. Now I can't. I just did it, guys, but I don't know if it locked me out of first. I didn't try and go back to first. I definitely could go back to, I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe I didn't have it set just then. Okay, let's set it. It's not set right now because we're in first. So I slam second and it locked. So let me slam third. Yeah. All right, guys, so I just, I got my 10 wrench here. I just adjusted the shifter all up. See, I got the knob on there as well. So pretty much all I had to do to get it perfect was I had to ram this bottom piece. I had to bottom it all the way out because there were a few threads left. This guy, pretty much just leave it alone. I mean, you could tighten it and loosen it and stuff if you want to add tension and stuff on the spring, but it gets pretty hard to put it over into first and second if you screw it all the way in. There's a 10 behind this plate. You take this plate off and there's the arm there that engages the lockout. You tighten and loosen that 10 to swing the arm further in and out to get this to sit properly in the little cup. There's a little horseshoe down there and there. I don't think you'll be able to see it, maybe just barely right there. I think you can see it actually. So that little horseshoe, when I go over here, so I also set up the stuff up here, so I go up, over, and into second. So when I'm into second and I have this on right here, so this turned right here is off, that's on. So when I have that on, I'm in second, it's locked, just slam third. We can't go over at all into first or second. And then because I set up this here, we can't go over into reverse either unless there's reverse. Oh, see, we gotta take the lockout off, unlock it. I don't think it wants to go into first right now, so come on, girl. First is the only gear I cannot get it to go in right now. But I just had it all working. You guys get the drift. This guy keeps it from going side to side while I'm in neutral, as well as this guy here. So it's got multiple forms of lockouts, super cool. And then I also got this guy here. This is a 12 amp hour Milwaukee M18. So this guy, I've had this 19.8, 19.6, 20 volts practically for 2 weeks now. It's so awesome. My battery, I charged it up last week just running the fuel pump. I ran the lights once so far. Let's grab our phone, show you. See, anti-gravity batteries. We got a tracker here. Close. Look at that. So 99. Come on, give me the right screen. It's all blurry. Up in here it says 99%. I don't know why it's being like this. See that? So 99%, and it's been running my car for all week. Last week I've been starting and stopping it. 37-degree weather, 45-degree weather, cold, just running the pump, running the starter, cranking, and it's still just kicking butt. Super proud of the battery and everything it's doing right now. And then this one too, running the engine and the fuel tank, the coils. Two-step, dude. I two-stepped it and it sounds so rowdy. I gotta get it on the dyno soon, but all this stuff is gonna help. So I'm gonna be able to get all this tied in there, and on the fuel tech we'll have the strain gauge and everything now. I need to look up on their website which way this needs to be, because it needs to be a certain direction for it to all work properly. But I'm excited. We got a bunch of little stuff done today. Drive shaft, the alternator stuff's gonna get figured out. Light, the alternator stuff's gonna get figured out. Strain gauge, as well as getting the lockout set up so that we can just slam the gears with the strain gauge and not have to worry about misshifting it all. And then we cleaned up a bunch of little stuff here and there, taped up some wires so that they're just not dangling super low on the ground. Bunch of little stuff. These bolts right here, these are the bully bolts from the old front end. There was a piece of plexiglass that said PFIspeed in the front of the one-piece front end, and I took all those bolts, and that's what holds that up there. I think that's pretty cool. All right, guys, so we've got this thing fitted up in there, and we're looking at the belt and the pulley now, and the drive shaft with the alternator and all that jazz. I don't know where we put the alternator. We just had it here. My dad might have it. He's looking at stuff. Oh, it's right here. So we're looking at making a bracket to mount up this little guy. This is from the coal truck. It's a nice, cute little guy. It doesn't require us to use these plugs back here, just the wire and go. So, like it a lot. It'll work good, and it'll charge us up great. Over here, that axle you guys saw that I exploded out there on the patio. I'm working on fixing that guy right here. So I got all the bearings on the tripod and the tripod back on. I had taken it off. You know, they just come off if you pull that clip. I don't know if you've ever worked on your axles before, but that's all you got to do to pull them apart. And then I started checking out what it's going to take to get my hypoid gear kit in my T-case. So got the spider gear. This is the actual hypoid gear with the shaft and everything, and then the shim kit so that it's not, gets rid of the crush and all that, makes it much better. So woo! But so now that I got this axle all back together, I just kind of need to grease it up, and then I have a cup at the house. I did not bring it today because I honestly wasn't thinking I was gonna bust this out, but my dad and I were talking, and we need everything we got. So I need to get this thing fixed up. I need to get this clip back on now. That should be pretty easy, honestly. Just got to get the front piece in, and then I got pretty strong fingers. I'll make it happen. Oh, pulled on the tripod. I need that to stay back. All right, that side there. Okay. It's a good clip. Alright guys, you ready for this? It's happening now. Come on. Alright, we're getting there now. There we go. A little extra help always will do. Now I make sure all these guys are clicked on. See, and once they're clicked on, they have a little bit play. That one's one of the ones I can pull all the way up. Like, they have a little bit of play up and down, up and down, and then this one, this ball here is still like perfectly good. I could pull it all the way on and off without having to add a little extra force. These ones I had to clean up the ends because that cup broke and it was just going crazy in there, and it dinged it up a little bit, but not enough to where I couldn't get these on and I couldn't get it to work properly. So these all still nice, good bearings. They work good. Still nice and flexible. Do whatever they got to do. So we'll grease this thing up, and then we'll get a cup on it, get it all back together. Probably won't grease it up right now because we need to get a cup on it. But I mean, I guess I could grease it up and then just, you know, stick it in. Stick it in. Ah. But I'm excited to do all this stuff. A lot coming together, and it's gonna be sick. My dad's off getting bolts and stuff right now. We're working on mounting this up. Got a little idea, and we're gonna get it all situated and figured out. It's pretty sick. This thing's gonna try and do a event like race week. So next up, we got the transfer case. We've got to put the hypoid gear and all the solid shims and everything, not to get rid of the crush shim and all that stuff. So got it all apart here and everything kind of laid out. It's not too bad, pretty simple. So this shim here, this is something that it doesn't have before. It goes right in here, drops right in there, right there. Okay, so the next you'll need to get a bearing race tool, pull this bearing off and put it on this shaft, and then this bearing off and put it on this gear here. So then the bearings are moved over. After that, you start with the washers and the everything. So this one goes right here on the new shaft though, of course, but right there. And this guy up next, just like that. So then you put that in, nut on, make sure you use a little washer and everything, put the nut on, tighten that all up, and then you put this one in. And that one you need to put the washer on and tighten up as well on the shaft. And then because this gear here is a little bit taller than the factory one, they have this piece machined as well, which is just barely shorter than the other one, the OEM one. So you put that down, you put the crush washer back on it, and then you're ready to go there to put this on. You'll have to slide this all in the car, you know, it'll all go on like that. And then nut on. It comes with a new nut, so you use the new nut once you get a shaft, and comes with a new nut for the hypoid gear. So take care of all that, tighten it all back together. It'll be awesome. So we're gonna go get this thing done. All right, so this bearing comes off of the gear, goes on to the new one, just like that. So then we'll come over to the press on. There's a little bit of oil on there, a little bit of lube. And then this is the bearing race tool that we use to pull the bearing off of the old gear. Maybe just a little bit more, but it's right there. So just get that top piece where it's almost flush. It should stick up just a little bit. It's about even with the washer when the washer's all in there. We'll make sure this guy's all cleaned off. There's just some lube on there and grease from when they packaged it up. It's nice, keep it from rusting, nice and shiny. So next up, then we do the hypoid gear itself. So that is the spider gear that it meshes with. All right, so got that sucker all off and apart. I wanna take a towel through the center of that. So we'll be right. All right, so we got it all cleaned off. A little bit of grease on that shaft there. And then you see we got a nice piece of mild steel, pretty thick wall. We're going to use it to press the bearing on. So it should never take any more force to push the thing on than this. If you're crushing some sort of tube trying to put this thing on, you're doing something wrong. Once you get so far though, you will need a longer tube because now mine's too short. So I grabbed this one, but this one's too long, so I need to get another tube. And we'll get it figured out. Alright, now I got a longer tube in there. A little bit bigger, but it is still not too big, not too small, you know. The other one was just a little bit thicker, so it had more wall to it. Boom. There we go. Got the 2x. But boom, there it is. So, see there? I like it a lot. All right, so now that I got that back in there, I just need to reassemble this guy, and then I need to torque both the nuts. So let's get this thing back together real quick so we can get all those nuts torqued. All right, so I got this thing all torqued up except for this nut on top, so I put it all back together underneath. Just a little bit to do. There's just that little bit of play, but some of that will come out when we torque it down, and then you're supposed to have some so you don't shear the gears and stuff, because you want some slop out here. So we'll get that all figured out and torqued down, and then Mario just got here and he's got a little trailer frame we're gonna check out.
I'm excited to see it.
We're gonna build and stuff so we can have a trailer to carry everything while we do Sick Week. So pretty excited. It's gonna be sweet.
It's tiny, man. It's super light.
It is tiny. This looks perfect.
Yeah.
Let the modding begin, son.
I'm excited.
What a unit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were running these for race week, and then you can like disconnect it, and like people were just rolling it around.
Yeah.
You don't have to like back it up or anything.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the easiest to back up, but that's not too bad.
Oh, it won't be bad.
Yeah, you guys are taking like a whole spare block and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gas cans, tires, wheels. So that's
Yeah.
why we were talking about building some deals so like the tires could bolt to the corners.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And then have an area for fuel jugs for the short block. You know, just
Yeah.
different things. So
No, and that would be nice because then you don't have to like unload
Toolbox.
everything out of the car
yeah.
at every single track. So
Dang, look at there. We got
That's cool.
ourselves a little trailer. I can't wait to see the CRX towing it home.
Yeah,
Just try it.
just testing it out. Yep.
yeah, man, freaking mod it
This is
out,
sweet.
paint it, whatever.
Heck
Good old
yeah.
Mario coming through.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we were about to use this little boat trailer I had. I'm
Oh.
like, well, I'll start modding that. And then Shane's like, hey, Mario might have something. So
Yeah.
that worked
Yeah,
out good.
yeah, I put it together,
Great.
man. I just sat up against the wall, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is one of those little ones from Harbor Freight or something.
Yeah, yeah, but like a ton of people at Race Week were running the same one. A couple of my buddies ran them. Like, should be pretty good.
Yeah, it'll work great.
I think it's perfect.
Heck yeah.
We should be able to fit everything on that thing. At least, if not, we'll find out very shortly.
Yep.
Cool. Love it.
That's rad. That'll work great. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
That's
thank
awesome.
you.
And it should squat the back of the car so much too, cause like.
What lug pattern is that?
414. I don't know. That I'm sure they have spares at Harbor Freight or on
Yeah.
their website. So.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
I'll just bolt my full sizes on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it.
Oh, for a spare? Yeah, I didn't grab a spare yet.
No, I'm saying it's close to 4x100. I could just bolt my
Oh,
wheels
put some
on.
Donuts on it.
My wheels.
Some slicks.
My white ones. They're only 22s.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Along with all the prep, we've been trying to figure out my mysterious lifter tick. So they came over and listened to the motor while I had it fired up and it was running, and turned out it wasn't even a lifter tick at all. My dad thought it sounded like an exhaust leak, and I kind of did too, but I assumed a lifter tick because the sound was more back here. It wasn't like up here. So the EGR port on the exhaust the EGR port on the intake actually blew out on the gasket there. So it was blowing exhaust out of the intake, and we had an exhaust leak through the intake. So it was an exhaust leak, but it was on the back side of the intake where I was hearing it, and it wasn't the lifter tick. But glad we figured that out. We're getting a new gasket on here. We just made sure everything spins with the new transfer case. I didn't mess it up, so that's good. I need to torque down the front nut, but everything else is torqued and right and good. I got oil back in the trans, and I'm ready to go. I'm excited. Stay tuned, guys. This is gonna be fun. All right, so he's running the alternator wire through right now. We just picked up a button and 2 switches for the blinkers and the hazards. Mario hooked me up with a little trailer and all these goods. This is his. You keep that, but we got a hitch on the way, and then this is the trailer lights and everything to wire it up. I'm super excited, the pin and everything, so this is super awesome. This thing is coming together super close. So once we get the alternator on it, we need to wire all the goodies up, lights, horn, all that stuff, and just test it. So waiting on a gasket. We'll probably have one of those tomorrow, but we'll get this thing all back together and situated. I'm excited.
I'm excited, man. So yeah, this is the alternator. We just fished it through this rail now. Just put some ends on it, attach it here, and then we should be able to shoot that rest to the back.
Yeah.
And then when it's up in the air again, we'll just throw an end on it, terminate that,
Awesome.
and we should have the drive shaft tomorrow, hopefully, so we can test all that as well. So
Woo!
yeah, we're gonna
Kick
push.
butt. Yep.
Things are gonna happen real
We need to
fast.
make sure before we try and drive it home to really allocate the VTEC still.
Yeah.
Just little things. Just Just little things, but it's super close and
I
looking
want to
good.
change that whole plug to do it.
Yeah,
Look
just,
at your head. They got us again.
they got us again. Every time.
They got us again.
We got ourselves that time.
Need something taller?
A little bit, but the wire's too short.
Yeah, we can find something else that's taller than that.
Oh, wait a minute. The hammer's taller. Yeah.
You ever got a punch?
I mean, I do. I just like my pry bar.
It's got a punch head. It's like an extender. There you go. You got the heat shrink done?
Yep, yeah, it's up
Oh,
here.
shut up. I don't think you get a good spot. He did, but yes. I was like worried that wasn't a very good spot because the
My headlight?
whole weight plate moved.
Did it really?
Yeah, I can feel it on my leg.
That's not good.
Well, I mean, you're hitting it with a hammer.
And then the engine's a hammer. Hits it all the time.
Alright, let's do it. Just give me one more.
Like here.
I'll go there, back in that same spot. There you go.
Good. Very good.
I got a lighter somewhere. Yeah, he's got the heat.
Remember I told you I thought I had one of those GPS sensors?
I think it's funky.
I found it.
What is that?
This is like the Haltech GPS sensor.
Oh.
But it's the any rotation, any mounting code.
Alright. That's so we can track the voltage. It's important. Anti-gravity hooked us up with this guy.
That's pretty nice, huh?
Yeah. Let's.
You know what I did with my pink already? It's nice that they gave me one for both types so that even when my lithium isn't charged and running, I can just check what type of charge any battery has.
And how do you check it?
An app on my phone.
You gotta show us that.
Yeah, it's in my... I haven't done my video yet, but it's totally on the camera.
Alright.
Also,
So anti-gravity batteries, battery tracker.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's been at like 99% for like 3 weeks. No, or 93% now. It was at 99%.
So that says what
Wow.
where your battery is right here on the
Right
car.
now, right
That's
now.
cool. Very cool.
So we're always able to check and see and know if it's even, it'll say it's charging, if the alternator's charging. And
You know
it'll
if you
tell us.
gotta grab the jump box before you even come in the shop.
Like, yeah.
Cool.
All right, so I got this guy right here from the Bully stuff. So we're gonna put this in between the alternator wire so that we have power inside the car so we can run power over to or turn signal wires and everything. We're gonna have an inverter in here, so it's gonna need big wire, good lamp load, so that it can charge the Milwaukee while we drive and everything, and it'll run off the alternator as well as the car and everything. But the fuel pump and fans and starter will be off of the 12 volt over there and the alternator. And then that guy right there will just do the fuel tech and all that cool stuff it comes with. All right, so I got that. It's kind of not the prettiest. Wire's a little long. Tie it up. We'll dress it up. You know how we do. But for now, comes to there. Ties the alternator into it. The alternator runs up and in. Goes inside the car there, or goes inside the engine bay there. Well, right here, and then right up and around, out, boom, right to the battery. So getting closer and closer. That alternator is only charging the fans, the fuel pump, the starter. When the kill switch is killed, it kills the starter, the fuel pump, the fans, all of it, because it's ran by the fuel tech and the switch panel, which is what's killed by the kill switch. So yes, that other battery over there, if you were to touch 2 screwdrivers to it, it would have power still, blah 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 blah. Starter, the wire itself going to the starter has power still, but I could press the starter button all I want, I could do everything I can to hit the starter, and it's never going to start unless we go out there and we manually power probe it. But then again, it still is not going to start, because you'd have to power probe the starter, you'd have to power probe the fuel pump, you'd have to get the ignition to turn on, which is not going to work. So it kills everything, which is really cool and super interesting that I'm able to do that with 2 different batteries and everything and make it all work. So pretty cool. All right guys, so we're going up for the night. We've got the blinkers all wired. We just need to get a switch. I think I'm gonna grab a switch in the morning. I'm gonna run out to my SI. I'm gonna grab the switch for the sunroof, because it's a switch that has an up and a down, and it also pops right in next to next to the coin slot on the dash. So it'll pop right in. We can take those wires out, run them to the switches, or run them to where the switch powers go on the blinker relays that run the blinkers, and this girl is gonna be ready to rip. We got the alternator on the drive shaft ready to go. Drive shaft's being made as we speak. They said it'll probably be done tomorrow or maybe slightly after that. This front one, I need to pull this off so I can torque that nut still. It's tight, but it's not torqued. We just ran it all up in here. I wanted to make sure everything spun, because I was having some issues when it was like, I don't know, I was just in my head really. But so we got all that figured out and taken care of. Super excited, pumped up. This is gonna be good, guys. This is gonna be huge. Javi was looking at this and said I should probably like get a washer and just self-tapper these, kind of just like that, so that'll keep them away from the axle. Those are my brake lines, like both sides. It could just reach right there really easy, and this side already has a hole in one spot. It doesn't reach there though, of course. But yeah, so something like that, and just keep going with everything. So we'll get the drive shaft on, we'll get testing this thing, make sure the alternator's charging. But we ran the wire to it. We're double check some stuff real quick right now, but I'm excited, I'm pumped up. This is gonna be sick. So we're gonna pull that off and then make sure that it's on some metal and not just the plastic, and then we're just gonna keep rocking. Right on, so that is all good. Checked it out. I'm pretty excited. Stay tuned for everything we got coming for Sick Week. Make sure you guys check out my dad's video, and I know more of you are gonna be coming from his video than mine to his, but either way, check them both out. I got a little bit of smudge on the camera putting it in my pocket just now, but whatevs. Party on, have a great time. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe down below. This is GoofyBuilt. Peace out.